This is ONFM on 101.4.
Very good afternoon and welcome to ONFM Radio. This is Mark Saccone here with an hour show today. We've got some guests in the studio this afternoon and we'll be talking about how you can cope when losing a child too soon. I'm joined in the studio with Sam Bennett and Tracy Adkins, and Tracy's here to support Sam on various different issues, which we'll find a little bit more out in the show. Now, first of all, I'd like to speak to Sam, and Sam, can you tell us a bit more about your story?
Yeah, I can. Pixie, my daughter Pixie Tinkerbell, she was born at 21 weeks pregnant, which is under the gestation period.
Okay.
When I was nearly 21 weeks pregnant, I all of a sudden took very ill. Nothing medically, I just felt that I was going to die.
Right.
To the point being, I kept going to bed, just felt generally not myself. And my husband took me up to the hospital to be seen in the triage, which is the little area of the midwives that check you to see whether you're in labour, etc. I went there and they couldn't find anything wrong with me, but they thought possibly I had something wrong with my sinuses or swine flu, because my husband had swine flu 3 weeks prior. And because I was due to have my abnormally scan the next day, they decided to keep me in and to just observe me, really.
Okay.
They scanned me and I saw Pixie on the scan and her heart was beating fine. Basically, I was just told to lie down and rest and wait till tomorrow. The next day came and obviously it was my scan and I knew I had to go for my scan. And the midwives and that come into the room and told me that, oh God, this is just so hard, sorry. They just come into the room and told me that they didn't know whether or not I could go for my scan because they were waiting on these results from the swine flu. But I told them I was adamant and I was going to go.
Right.
In the end, they gave me the go-ahead to go along for my scan, and off I went with my friend Claire. And they started, the sonographer started doing the scan and was telling me the measurements of my baby and saying how healthy my baby looked, and then all of a sudden looked up to me and said my baby had died.
Which is a terrible thing for any mum or expecting mum to go through. Obviously, you can understand this is a very sensitive cause and discussion we're having this afternoon. So we do understand how upsetting this could be towards you, Sam. Are you okay to carry on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I started screaming and shouting and smashing things, demanding a second opinion. And after some time, they got this other person in to rescan me, and it was confirmed. I can then remember running out of the building, and straight away I had like a herd of nurses and doctors and just receptionists, you name it, they were all there trying to calm me down but telling me now I had to go and deliver my baby.
Right, and
this is where I step in, because it does become very hard for Sam. She went through 17 hours labour to give birth to her baby. Although the baby was deceased, she still went through 17 hours labour to give birth.
Right.
And this is really, as I speak about Sleeping Angels Unite, is what we are all about, is by putting a voice across and saying that sometimes the insensitive issues that Sam follows from on this story, which are far too sensitive to go into, to be quite honest, but we are quite willing to talk about it on other serious issues shows. We're quite pleased to talk about it further as Sam heals. But it just shows that, for every mother out there, this is not something that just happens. She will live with this for the rest of her life.
And it's quite a sensitive and emotional time for any conversation.
Yeah.
Even that you have to go through this procedure of taking all these tablets to bring the labour on, etc., etc. And I felt even though my daughter had died, I felt that I was murdering my daughter. And I asked for a C-section, but I wasn't allowed because my baby was under the 24-week gestation. I asked for so much help, but because of the law and being under the gestation period, you're not allowed it.
Which for anybody that doesn't know means the baby isn't a baby until it's 24 weeks by law. So they halt some hospitals to the extent they halt medicines, all help, because it's not covered by the government. We're aware of how much it costs to keep a baby alive. It's £7,000 a day.
Right, yeah.
But there are lots of organisations out there that are raising the money to keep those babies alive, and that's what, once again, we're part of, is to to start to do that, which is later in the show when we'll tell you all the good things that are happening because of these babies and the mother's sufferings.
I mean, they did give me one choice, and that choice was to hurry up and get into labour and deliver Pixie, or to carry my baby over the Christmas period, knowing that my baby was dead inside me.
Which is not a very good thing for any mother or expecting mother to be.
No, and then so obviously I took the tablets and went through the labour procedures, being told that I could have my baby with me as long as I wanted afterwards. It got to the point being none of these tablets worked, the morphine wasn't working, they couldn't aid me, and in the end I ended up delivering my baby at 2:22 on Christmas Day.
So this has changed your way of Christmases from now onwards, I can imagine.
Christmas.
Yeah, I can really imagine. Obviously, as I see here, you've been in contact with Facebook as well, and you've done quite a lot with Facebook work as well. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, it got to a point being that I was constantly sitting on my floor in the kitchen, a nervous wreck, emotional, suicidal thoughts, you name it, everything was going through my head, like, why me? And then my good friend Tracy and my other good friend Claire were like, no, come on, you've got to get together, you've got to have a mission, you've got to turn, even though she's my daughter and it was a big negative in my life, I had to turn it positive, which is the hardest thing to do. So I have 6 other children. I have lost 12 children prior to Pixie who were miscarriages. The law say Pixie was a miscarriage, she wasn't. I delivered her, she was fully formed, and my other children are always doing TV work and being in the newspapers and making a name for them, and I had to do the same for Pixie even though she's not here. So myself, Tracy and Claire are Pixie's voice now, and
voices for thousands of others, because when we opened up the Facebook group, thousands of women came forward and families with their stories. 32,000 members we have now,
and some of these stories are quite horrific.
Are horrific.
Yeah.
If you think this one you've only touched on the outskirts, they are horrific, and it's almost barbaric in the 21st century to have this, and it's all because of the abortion laws.
Yeah.
And that's, how you can put a baby that is wanted in the same bracket as a baby that is unwanted. These are the things that doesn't add up.
There's 3 mums out of 10 mums a week who are catching the E. coli bug, group B streptococcal, which is actually killing the babies and also killing the parents. That's what I had. There are many others.
The statistics are quite high on stillbirths.
Right, yeah.
And there's not any information for a test for mums to be to have this test to see if they're going to get it. The infections are what are killing the babies, and the infections are killing the parents as well, and this needs to be a thing that needs to be
made awareness. Yeah. The other thing is obviously that you set up a charity, or you're wanting to set up a charity, but at the moment you set a website up for Sleeping Angels Unite. Is that correct?
Yeah. We decided that we'd put something together and start to open up the portals, as it were, to get our word out there from the mother's point of view. That we thought there's no point fighting a law that's being fought for so long and nothing's being done about it. So we're just going to try and push the simple changes that can be made. And Sleeping Angels Unite came up with Unite, so that we believe that if every group unites, there's so many groups out there, if groups start to unite, we will be a bigger force,
a bigger voice
to change simple things, i.e. putting a mother that's lost her child in the same ward as mothers that have just had their child and are celebrating, just to me is quite insensitive.
Yeah.
It is. There's me holding my daughter and all I'm hearing is other babies cry.
Which is obviously it's just bringing
and that's a simple
more
thing
emotion.
That we can change. That's a simple thing that we can change in 24 hours.
And then you have to walk out of that hospital with your little box when all the other mums are walking out with their babies. It's not right all going through the same door.
So what's the response you've had on Facebook from setting up this group?
Oh God, the support has been
the spirit
terrific
behind the group is unbelievable. It's really quite touching. If anybody goes onto the Facebook group, they will read hundreds of stories and hundreds of support, and we've had a few men come forward, which is, men don't come forward. We'd love you to come forward, you know. At the end of the day, this does affect you as well, and we know what you boys are like. We know you're, yeah, don't we, Sam?
Yeah, my husband's
but come forward, you know, because why should somebody, this will affect Sam for the rest of her life, and thousands of other women, if we don't make it a little bit better or easier to deal with the fact that they've lost a child, let alone having extra wounds scarred open by no certificates. You know, the baby wasn't even viable. I mean,
they need to give the mums the choice. If I had wanted to
mums need more choice.
Yeah, if I wanted to abort Pixie, then, you know, I would have done that. But no, I gave birth to her, and I want a birth certificate. So.
Okay, well, we're going to take a look a bit more about the Facebook group, and also we've got some more information about the exhibition, which we'll be touching on in just a few minutes' time.
This is On FM on 101.4.
This is Mark Saccone here with you through to around about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I've got some guests in the studio where we're just discussing about how you can cope with losing your baby too early, and also about the sites and the groups on Facebook that they've set up called Sleeping Angels Unite. Now, I've got Tracy in the studio along with Sam Bennett's here. And Tracy, can you just tell us a bit more about the Sleeping Angels Unite and how or where you want to take it in the future?
Yep, Sleeping Angels Unite, we've decided that we're going to concentrate on changes that can be made within 24 hours if needs be, for people that are out there listening. The awareness of the laws that before 24 weeks a child is not viable needs to be seriously looking at. Raising the awareness of the insensitive issues that women and families are dealt with by the medical professions in some areas and some hospitals, because they're not all the same. We've had as many really good stories.
Right.
No, not as many actually, but we have had some good stories.
Some positive.
Some positives. And the things that we, first of all, we need to become a charity, which we'll be talking about in the next section, because I'm an artist, a local artist. I shall be holding an exhibition to raise £5,000 for us to become a charity. And then our other little aims can come into play, where we'll be setting up bereavement rooms in local hospitals.
Yeah, the bereavement rooms is because they're putting mums whose babies are being born too soon into actual labour wards, and so we want bereavement rooms.
So to keep them separate.
A separate side, but also with ice rooms in there for the babies, so that their babies can stay with them for as long as they want, rather than the morgue porters come and take your baby because your baby smells.
Yeah,
which is some of the things
that's understandable.
We get told.
And also equipment, i.e. the ice box, also little things like our own certificates. You know, if the law aren't going to acknowledge these babies, we at Sleeping Angels will. We do have a whole list that Sam is just about to mention a few of the kiddies.
Are these some of the names of the other ladies?
These are women who we have Sleeping Angels, and they are supporting us. They're on our website.
There's millions and millions of women that we could, go ahead and say, but we just want to say thanks to and send our love and everything to like Alfie Hone's family, Angel Smart, Faith McKay, Riley Tosamorley, Callan Hills, Ashley Kirkham, Luke Abbott, Sky Reardon, and all the other Sleeping Angel families, who are uniting with us and backing us.
So we basically, those children aren't forgotten. They're out there, and they're in the cyber waves.
They're on our register.
Just them, us putting them on site made a massive difference. I had mothers emailing me, just thanking me just for their name to appear
giving them
online.
Their human right,
That tiny little bit of positivity.
And having the website and the Facebook groups is pulling loads of people together, making this a stronger story.
The only advertising we've actually done is ourselves, which is just plugging through all social networking sites. We've had over 100,000 hits on our website. We've got a group of 32,000. We've got the other two groups as well, which are growing.
That's in less than a year.
Daily basis.
So you are actually reaching people from, is it all over the world, or just all over the country? Over the world.
Australia, China, America, Canada have all come in. And why can't England be like Australia and America?
Bring the laws to the same.
20 weeks. They're at 20 weeks, then babies are surviving. We had one in the paper recently in England of a baby that did survive.